Alright, welcome back to another episode of Grounded with DillyDave. Today I'm thrilled to introduce a guest who is not just making waves in the Melbourne music scene, but is also a beacon for many up-and-coming artists, the incredible Ivory Archer. Ivory is a force to be reckoned with. With her unique blend of R&B, hip-hop and pop, she is constantly evolving and pushing the boundaries of music. But it's not just her music that's captivating, it's her dedication to the community. Under the event named Young Gods, Ivory's been putting on shows that are nothing short of electric, bringing together artists and fans alike. Fresh off her new release, No Limit with Trix William, Ivory's momentum is bloody unstoppable. And today we get a chance to delve deeper into her journey, from her initial years building a solid foundation and network, to the practices that she swears by to stay grounded and focused. This episode promises to be a wealth of insights. Many artists in Melbourne owe a lot to Ivory's continued involvement and support in the scene, and today we get to hear her story, her challenges, and her vision. So, let's do this. Let's dive into this enriching conversation with Ivory Archer that we had at Red Betty. Shoutouts to Red Betty in Brunswick. Cheer.
Alright, what is good? Beings of the multiverse, it's DillyDave, aka the Milky Bar Kid, hanging out with Ivory Archer. Welcome to Grounded with DillyDave. Ivory, how are we doing today?
Wow, so good to be back here with you, going to chat away about everything music and life and everything. So much has gone on. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. It's funny because we were often in the same or similar circles and scenes, but to sit down and have a powwow was often quite tough, hey?
It is like when you're out and about, you bump into each other, you're at a gig and, everyone's doing their thing, or I might be running the event. You might be the artist on the lineup too. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got their role to play and, but this is so great to sit down finally. How long has it been? Maybe 2 years?
Yeah, since we did the other Grounded with DillyDave. I think that was 21, wasn't it? Kind of started COVID.
Correct, yeah.
Jeez, what wild times.
Wild times.
Well, before we really get into the meat and potato of things, this episode or this podcast is called Grounded, and a great way to get grounded is to acknowledge the sacred ground that we're on.
For sure.
So I'd just like to acknowledge the sacred ground of the Boonwurrung and the Warrawong people of the Kulin Nation that we're recording on today. Just want to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging.
Of course.
Acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, no treaties were signed, and we should hold gratitude for being able to do what we do on this space and land.
For sure. Thanks for that.
No worries, Ivory. So, it's been a little bit. We see each other around, but give us a bit of an update in the world of Ivory Archer. What's been happening? What's new? What's fresh?
Wow. Well, it's been even since last year and again into this year, it's been non-stop go. It's been an amazing time of just making music, releasing music, being really consistent with that. I took a little hiatus off live shows with my baby event, Young Gods.
Yes. Young Gods.
Young Gods. But, we had a comeback last weekend at Radio Bar. We made it and it was just an amazing show. But, it's been, we've done heaps of shows, established that, and just been really, really productive in the studio, loving being freely creative again and letting that flow and getting some really happening joints out. So I'm really happy and excited about what's to come, and I've been really happy with how things have been going and how the audience have been being receptive. So it's been cool.
Well, before we dig really into the fresh Ivory Archery sound that's happening at the moment, I just want to give a quick shout out to Red Betty's.
Yeah.
Who we're at right now recording one of the cool live venues in Red Betty's in Brunswick.
Betty.
So shout out to Joel, Michael and the bar staff. Alice tonight, but Dan's also on the roster some nights.
Amazing, yeah.
Awesome.
We love Red Betty. I actually did a gig here a few weeks back.
Yeah.
On a Sunday for Matt Sinner, an old friend of mine, another great musician out here in the scene. Shout out to Matt Sinner. But here we are, Red Betty.
Yeah, you've been at Red Betty's a few times. Just a little bit closer with it. Yeah, there it is. Because I just see the lines here. Yeah, there we go.
Quite lights, yeah.
So you've been at Red Betty's a few times.
Yeah, heaps of times.
What's your history with Red Betty? Like, walk me through it. Like, how did you stumble across, and then how did you get a few gigs out here?
Yeah, well, it all started like quite a few years ago. We're going back now, 2016, 2017, little young Ivory trying to define herself in the local Melbourne scene. I started going to Penny Black first.
Cool,
and
yeah.
doing like the Wednesday nights that they had open there for artists to get up and do their thing, open mic style. But I soon became like a very regular kind of Wednesday night resident. Through that, I met, artists like Michael, who own the bar now.
Yep. Shout out to Michael.
Shout out to Michael. And then, then through that met Matt Sinner, big regulars here, and then Francis Fuller as well, which is very good friends with Matt. Call ourselves the Saggy Gang, actually.
Powerful.
Because we're Sagittarians.
Yeah.
And then there was a time as well before like Red Betty happened. We were, this was kind of just before and even in between COVID. There's a place called Deluxe Bar in Mini Ponds.
Okay, yep.
And Michael was running like the bar and running a bit of a night there with Matt Sinner, another Friday night, which is really cool. Like they were just putting on artists that were available and just sort of, having a night happen and showcasing different artists. And then from there, Red Betty came along, and then started obviously because I had established that relationship with Michael as a professional and as a friend. It was easy just to hit him up like way after COVID and be like, hey, I've got a bit of a crew, like let's put on like a hip hop show kind of thing, a hip hop rap R&B show,
which isn't necessarily Red Betty's
thing.
Normal sound or whatever,
So, and I guess, lucky for me that I had, known these boys, the great guys, for quite a while from, doing music in general in the local scene. And then, they let us have this space to explore with hip hop and that. And it became a thing here and there. And
because you've done two young gods here, 2 or 3? Or is it like one young god and then a bunch of other?
There's been about 2 or 3 young gods.
Yeah.
And then, again, which I've been lucky to have that crossover where because I know Matt Sinner well, and he's more like a rock, acoustic, folk kind of artist, amazing artist, produces his own music as well. He's allowed me to be on some of his shows. He's called me and he's like, I've got this lineup, can you come and headline?
Yeah.
And obviously that's allowed me to cross over from like my hip hop rap and then, go back to my like other roots of, like underground pop, I call it, or more kind of ethereal, girly kind of pop. So I've been able to, and a bit of rock. So I've been able to like, mix it right up. Like, if I'm talking about Ivory Archer in general, she's from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
I've often like kind of labelled myself that. Like sometimes you just never know what you're going to get. But that's been like the brilliant thing about being able to be a part of like the Red Betty scene. I've been able to do our hip hop thing, but the guys have allowed me to be able to explore with my other styles of music that I can bring to the table live.
I definitely think you have a strength with your versatility. And, it's great when venues give you the chance to explore that.
Yeah.
And then when you find the right people who are happy to have you on their lineup, it's great, and that's one of the cool things that you're great at.
Thank you.
Is being out in the scene, connecting with people. Making the network, and then I guess following through by like booking or getting a gig and then showing up, really doing the thing, really caring, and enjoying it. Huge big ups to you for doing that, because I think that does inspire some other people to be have a bit more of a go-getter attitude.
For sure. And, like from one of the first times we've ever like been on a podcast and had a chat and that. I mean, that's never changed, and even from way before back then. Like,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things about me has always been like, I love bringing people together. I love music unity. Even in one of my tracks, Fendi Freestyle, I kind of call it the Fendi Music Unity Freestyle, because I talk about, bringing the team together, the crew together.
Yeah.
And you know, I have been, again, like it's been really lucky. Like one venue, like being Red Betty, they've trusted me to bring whatever, who knows what they thought the first time, what is she going to bring to the table?
Right.
And they let it go ahead. And, you know, I brought, you know, usually you'd see lead guitars and drums and you know, a bass guitarist and stuff like that on stage. But, you know, we were able to bring OG Kai,
Yes.
DJ Kai, you know, we brought DJ Kai to the mix
Yes.
on stage at the Red Betty stage. And it's like, oh, you know, and all these artists were like popping out, and myself with our backing tracks and a DJ scratching. So shout outs to DJ Kai for that. So Red Betty let us do our thing, which is different. But then we have had artists who I have been able to, provide artists a space as well through Young Gods, I guess, here at Red Betty. And they've come out and done their whole acoustic, you know, guitar thing as well. Like
Monkey Inferno or...
Yeah, Damn Fine Chai.
Yeah, Damn Fine China as
which
well.
that was one of the like epic shows. Like Amutha just killed it. Shout out Amutha.
Yeah, she was on the second podcast, so if people
know.
didn't catch that, go back to it. But
Yeah.
Amutha and Damn Fine Chai are really, they're out of this world, aren't they?
They're so out of our cosmic goddess. She's just, and she's like evolved. She just keeps evolving.
Yes.
We can learn so much from her as well. I love seeing her on stage and with her band, and you know, like the growth that they've had, and their music's just so, you know, their own. So yeah, it's really cool.
It's like calculated raw energy. They have this build and this swell, and they just know how to manipulate and play with it. It's incredible.
Yeah, they sure do.
All right, so let's not get too hung up on how good Damn Fine Chai are. But segueing from talking about Red Betty's and venues in Melbourne, and I mean, I don't know what you think, but I think that there are a lot of venues in Melbourne that are willing to give people the opportunity if they show up and present themselves well and are trying to connect with the scene in a meaningful way. What do you think?
There definitely are venues that are open to that in Melbourne. But what should come with that is you need to, I mean, if you're going to come forth with like a package with yourself and, you know, go to a venue owner and be like, hey, you know, I want to put on this show. I've got these artists with me. I've got this, you know, I've got my own stage set up, or I've got a DJ and you know, and so forth. I think it's really important to be a little bit established.
Right.
And it's important to have people that are, you know, they're all in. Then it's not, excuse my French, but not half-assed. I've learned that over the time. If it's one thing I've learned, and having venues trust you, like, the venues are there. But I think it's really important as well, like if you want to be someone that wants to put on shows with venues and have a venue go, and have that available to you, it's important like to, go out there, you know, go have a drink, connect with the venue owner, get to know the venue and see what is on offer.
Right.
The other thing with me, though, what's been lucky with me, like I've been around the local scene for a long time, so it's just been lucky as well that I've gotten to know a lot of venue owners over the years. So I've used that to my advantage and been like, I'm not going to just use it for myself. I thought I want to elevate, first of all, because I was so into hip hop and rap and R&B, and I wanted to, you know, since COVID, as you know, I thought I want to take advantage of that and get venue owners like excited about hip hop shows and see what we can make of it. So there are venues that are available out there. They're open to it. You just got to come with a good package, and like when they've given you the date and, you know, you show up on that date, you got to give it your all. And that means too, sometimes pulling out of your own pocket. Which is, you know, I've always had that, like that's been a thing, and like I've set myself up for that.
It's almost the nature of the game.
That's the nature of the game, you know, and you've got to be ready for a few different things like that, and just show up, and everyone's got to be on board, and that entails as well, like in behind the scenes, like leading up to the date, being in communication with the venue, but having like group chats with, your artists
Yes.
and your sound engineers. If there's going to be a stage set up involved, if the venue doesn't really have the stage that you want,
Right.
there's so much that goes with that. And then, really, crossing that over, being communicative with the venue owners. I think the more you communicate, the more you can have happen with you and venues. But there are a lot of venues that, they're a bit more hard and stern and a bit more strict in the way that they want to book people, and that it's like, a million emails, and, I'm a very face-to-face person. Kind of thing. And I will go out of my own time.
Yes.
And be like, hey, I want to do this. This is what I've got, and I'm lucky now. I have so much back history to show and be like, this is what I can bring to the table.
Right. So you can't just you can't come up to a venue expecting them to back you if you don't have any proof, if you don't have any either proof of concept or showing that you know and understand what's going on.
100%. And and that's the thing too. Like, before, I already had in my mind, and I knew, like, the ropes being that, with Young Gods, for example, I needed to be somewhat a defined local artist myself.
Yeah.
Solo, being out there for a while,
Yes.
doing solo gigs, and
Yes.
having people be like, okay, she's really serious about her music. She's serious about her performing and being consistent in just showing up, performing, even if it was an open mic, even if it
Right.
was like unpaid. Like, I've done a lot of unpaid. I'm still doing unpaid things because I love the music and I love this. I just love the scene and elevating people. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We all love a bit of moolah. We
Yeah.
need that dinero, but I think I was lucky, and I put myself in that, position. I'm going to define myself as an artist, and there'll come a day if I want to have like a crew thing happening and put on a show with me and several artists
Yeah.
and represent a sort of type of genre, which we do, which is we cross over between hip hop, rap, R&B,
Yeah.
boom bap, a bit of drill, which I wouldn't mind
Yes.
exploring next. I'm not going to give too much yet, but doing that, and then being able to, show footage to a venue if you don't know them by bar of soap helps. Having a portfolio of some sort. That's the right word to use, I guess. It's the right. But then, it's been lucky. The thing with me, it's just been lucky too, like I said, over the years. I've mingled with the right people, networked with the right people, and then, from word of mouth. And I think it's just being genuine with the right people, and then they take a chance on you, and you've got to show up.
Yeah. I think that's I think especially newer artists or people who are trying to kind of establish themselves, one of the best ways to do it is to really put yourself into the open mic scene. Pretty much Monday through Thursday, there's
Open mic nights.
There's 2 to 5 things happening on every single night, and you're crazy to think that going there, signing up, doing your thing, and showing face, showing up isn't going to impact people and venues. And the more that you do that, not only are you working on your stagecraft, but you're doing, as you said, Ivory, you're networking with people, you're getting to know venues, you're collecting some kind of like visuals and proof that you're out there doing the thing. And then when it comes to, approaching a venue with something bigger in mind, you're gonna know how to talk to these people. You're gonna know
100%.
how to present, and you're gonna know there's gonna be some realistic expectations around what could happen.
For sure. Exactly what you said. Like, you need to, before you can go out there and really connect yourself to venues, it's all about, you need to put yourself out there expecting nothing.
Yes.
Running to these open mics.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like, we spoke about it before we jumped on the podcast, like, we're both ill with music, right?
Hard.
So hard. Like, when it's who we are, it's part of our soul. So, yeah, like, there's things available to us out there, like nights and venues that have these open mics. That's the key starting point.
Yes.
Run out there, throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
Go there with your instrumentals.
Yeah.
Have a play, have a try. If you stuff up, who cares? But if you keep doing it, and if you practice behind closed doors, obviously that's key.
Yeah.
But if you keep doing that and showing up, and then you're meeting like-minded people,
Yeah.
because that's what kind of people go to these things.
Yes.
People like yourself.
Yeah.
We're all with music, and this is what we want to do. So that's how it all starts. But sometimes it can happen in months, or it can happen over a period of years. Depends.
Yeah.
It just depends. I mean, for me, honestly, there were periods. It was like phases of months, but then being honest, I can't sugarcoat it. Like, I spent quite a few years, like from the back end of like 2015 into 2016, like we were at a place called Mount Erica, which again, the Red Betty boys were involved with.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Who Alex, mate, who owns Craftman's Corner Bar now,
Cool.
who's an very old friend of mine from back in the day. Now it's like we're going way back, who used to own Billboard nightclub.
Wow.
But I was just the patron.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was still I was very interested in music, but I hadn't really defined myself as Ivory Archer, and I was more like a party goer, you could say, and a lover of, music.
Yeah.
But, again, it was just lucky that, I ran out again at a particular time in my life. I got serious about what I wanted to do as a local artist and to bring my music forth. And going to these open mic nights. One thing leads to another. You just got to keep persevering. It's tough, and you have your moments, you have your doubts and stuff like that. But you just got to keep, if you love what you do, and people, and that's the thing, if you love what you do and you keep throwing yourself in the deep end, people will start to believe you.
They'll see you.
That's it.
Yeah, you will be seen. Just kind of wrapping up the open mic conversation. I think that one of the things that you said is, going out there with no expectations. Like, I'm going to do this thing with nothing in mind that I'm going to get a return on. And I think that's one of the most important mindsets to have before you get bigger or anything.
Exactly.
But if you go out, and even if you're just working on your stagecraft, because there's a lot of things involved in a live performance, right? It's like feeling comfortable on stage. There's audience interaction. There's the technical aspects. There's being prepared. There's being prepared to have backups for things that could go wrong.
100%. So many levels to it.
Absolutely. So if you did open mics for a year and then you book your first gig, you're gonna fucking kill that first gig.
Exactly. You'll be ready, and again, like, practice makes perfect, and the more you want it, the more you practice, the more you throw yourself out there in going to open mics and expecting nothing.
Yeah.
I think you'll end up getting the best out of yourself, defining yourself as an artist, and then letting people believe in you. And you have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
You have to keep somehow that little bit of belief where you're pushing yourself out the door on a Wednesday, early eve, you just finished, maybe you've knocked off work, a little shift, and you're like, oh, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go hit that beer quickly.
Yeah.
Get a wine.
Yeah.
And get in my groove, if that's what you need.
Yeah.
And put yourself out there and make that connection. Whoever's running that open mic night, again, there's always someone running that open mic night.
Who's doing other things outside of that open mic.
It's all a big domino effect, and you couldn't be more right. Like, it's just you're putting yourself. You've got to just take that first step. Take a leap of faith. Throw yourself in the deep end, because if music's what you want, this is how you can make it happen for yourself in Melbourne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really trying hard in Melbourne, then something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah,
and a lot's happened since we met for a lot of us. And it's
totally,
for me, that's been one of the most beautiful things to see, like through Vibe Union. Shout outs to Vibe Union.
Shout outs.
Yeah. Again, like when I met all of you guys through Vibe Union, and that's how I met you. Like,
Flybird Lounge.
Exactly. Like I knew MQ.
Yeah.
Shout out to MQ.
Yes.
I knew MQ from Penny Black days.
Yeah,
and
that's
I was going to Penny Black for ages, and then he had come with Georgia.
Yeah.
Shout out to STP.
STP.
Again, like they were like completely new on the scene. I had just started, meddling and defining myself. And it was so cute. And I'll never forget this. They came to me and were like, do you really think we can do this? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Get out there.
Yeah.
But, once upon a time, that was me asking somebody else, do you really think I can act? What do you reckon? And that's the thing, like, we need more involvement like that from people, like to be like, just do it.
Give you a nod.
Yeah. It just takes that little nod,
yeah,
and it's a domino effect. And then I met MQ, and then a few years later, I'm checking online after, like, we're in between COVID, and like you were doing this thing at Lyrebird Lounge, and it attracted me because I'm like, oh, Vibe Union. Who's this? And it's MQ. I can trust it. I know who MQ is, This is, and getting involved like that. And again, like that night, I have to say, like, I was a bit like, oh, do I go? Do I not go? We were all kind of in our heads coming out of COVID.
Yes.
We were in COVID. And I'm so, so glad that I pushed myself. Like, I know you guys, a lot of you people out there and beautiful people that you are, see me as really confident, and I am.
Right.
But again, like anybody, I have my doubts, and I was like, that night, I was like, oh, do I go? Like, I don't really know anyone but MQ, but this will be a whole new thing for me again, and what will happen? But God, I'm so glad I went, because that opened a whole new world. And then, maybe a lot of you guys don't really know it, but a lot of you guys gave me that push back then again.
Kind
to be
of
where
revitalized
I'm at right now.
you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like a give and take thing. I don't think we even realise how it happens, and then we all start running with it. So it's so important to throw yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really funny how like all of that started and how it really connected us all together.
I know. And look at
Lyrebird
us
Lounge,
now.
Vibe Union, just putting on those little gigs, pretty much an open mic. I mean, we were quote unquote booking artists, but it's like everyone in kind of around a similar level.
Similar level with no expectation as much, and
Heaps of first timers as well.
Heaps.
Yeah. All right, let's get into speaking ill of the music, of your sounds and of your tunes. So your most recent updates is No Limits.
No Limit with Trix William.
Yep.
My guy, Trix William. Shout out to Trix William.
You two truly are a power couple out here, really making it happen.
Making it happen, yeah. What can I say? Just in short, like, I'm really lucky. I'm having the time of my life because there's nothing better being like a creative, an artist yourself, personal, professional level. There's nothing better than being able to, be intertwined with someone that's exactly like yourself in that, on those levels, and being able to create together, or individually create, and then have each other's support and stuff. But yeah, we recently put out a track called No Limit, which we recorded in Trix's studio. Yeah. And he's a damn fine producer, let me tell you. I'm so lucky to be just in his world. Like, he blows my mind. And that's something like, like being ill with music, seeing someone work the way that they work and bringing to life what can be, how can I put it? Bringing to life like the best out of me. Yeah. Like vocally, and obviously I think he's one of the best rappers in Melbourne.
Oh yeah, I mean technically he's unbelievable, but then also like not only technically he's a great rapper, but he's a great songwriter.
A great songwriter,
we don't have to,
lyrical genius, man.
We'll get into the producing in a second, but also he's melodic and can sing and do all these other things. So he's actually very fleshed out and very like well-rounded as an artist.
Very well-rounded. Yeah. So there's a lot, again, like even though I come from so many different music backgrounds and there's so much I know, again, for me, during this period and bringing out these particular singles, having someone like Trix William, by my side, musically, professionally, personally, there was so much to learn, and it was just like, wow. And yeah, being someone, like I've grown up with hip hop rap, but it was such an honor, and I'm so grateful to have someone like himself around me. And there was so much to learn again with, my rap flows.
Which there's an obvious in a very cool way, an obvious Tricks influence
Growth.
on your stuff, you know.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad.
I think with a lot of hip hop artists, there's some known patterns and flows.
Yeah, definitely.
And you kind of generally stick to them, you know. And you know, everyone has their own sound or flavor, but there's a lot of common patterns that are done. But somebody like Tricks, he doesn't give a fuck about the common pattern, does he? He will think of everything else except for that common pattern.
That's the thing. See, that's what I think attracted me as well musically with Tricks is, again, he can be from one extreme to the other. Like he goes outside the lines, but then it's still very true to him, like his own rap hip hop. Well, and again, like I can't help but mention there is something that is very apparent about him too. It's like we can call him the Marshall Mathers of our scene.
Yes.
He's got this kind of Eminem flow, which I've always loved.
Yep.
So, you know, and then again, genuinely and organically, you know, being around him, I wanted to, genuinely and organically kind of, in my own way, adapt and learn the rap flows and let it come natural for me to write like that, you know, get my pain out like that, get, you know, wanting to say something uniting like that, you know, to elevate the people. But again, like No Limit has a lot of, if we're going to talk about No Limit, I really think it was a big, like, stepping stone for me individually as a female artist, you know, being in this rap hip hop Melbourne scene. I really feel like I've kind of snapped and I made my mark a little bit, kind of marked my territory a little bit, thanks to Tricks, of course, in being able to, you know, have those flows and say what I wanted to say, you know, these are true stories. Yeah. Everything's always true.
Well, I think, you always seem to speak from a lot of truth, and it's
personal experience,
and it's not like a surface level thing. It's not just an aesthetic or whatever. It's like
I'm really wanting to tell my story.
Yeah, so you always come across authentic in that, and I think the Tricks.
Thank you.
So
do you.
Yeah, thank you. I think Tricks always comes across as authentic as that. But when it comes to the production side of it, how did you two build this together? How did you two build this track?
Well, so Tricks works on Fruity Loops a lot.
Yep.
And we Studio One. Hope I'm not giving away too much.
Well, no, I mean, like, everyone uses the software and stuff, but I'm talking about like more the process. Like, you two, like, did you come up with some lyrics, or was Tricks like playing around with a beat or a sound, and then you're like, oh, that's interesting. What can we do with that?
Yeah, of course. Now, usually, like, either one of us, I guess, you know, doing these collabs that we have done together, and one being No Limit, either one of us will have like a beat in mind or something like that. I actually had a basis of a beat.
Yeah.
That was kind of handed to me, cool. Which is so lucky. And it was a beat that I was just like, it was in my head, but it was a beat that I was dying to come across.
Yeah.
And it happened at the right time. So I wasn't going to waste no time. So I went straight to Tricks with it. And I'm like, listen to this, I have this, and I think it's time. Like, this was after Army.
Okay,
so we did the whole, like, you know, sweet, sexy, romantic thing. And again, that was, like, very true to us. But then I thought it's really time for us to go hard, speak about some pain, speak about, we got a bit nasty with it. Maybe sometimes you do as an artist. Like, you have to wear your heart on your sleeve like that.
Yeah.
In that kind of gritty, you know, outspoken way.
Right.
We had some things to say. So I said, I think this beat really speaks to me, and I want to build on it with you. I know you, if anyone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be you. And we were both ready to just try to lyrically speak about some different pain. So what we get together on our weekends off.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, like, which is my favorite thing to do, like, on a weekend off. Lock yourself in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, get a bit of liquor.
Yes.
You know, get a bit fade, just a little bit.
And get ill with it.
And get ill with it. Get a bit lit. Get ill with it. And you know, just start writing away, like, you know, different storylines and about our different phases of our life, and where we were at, where we are now, what to expect. That's what No Limit's about. It's like there's no limit. Like, this is what we've been through, individually.
So it's a bit of a storyline. Like it's a bit of a timeline.
Like because I say things in No Limit which are very, they're huge for me. Like it's been a long time coming. Again, I'm a very romantic rebel kind of artist.
Yeah.
I'm all about the love too, but No Limit for me establishes like I may be just a local Melbourne artist, but like back in the day, like I had Sony Mushroom on the table wanting to sign me away, but they wanted to sign me to some bubblegum, kind of sounding beats, and they wanted me to write it, and I was like, I'm not signing for this.
Yeah.
Like my dream was handed to me, and I say that in it. I want it, and the reason why I say that in No Limit is to let the audience know, like, I'm out here doing my thing. I'm not getting $1 million. I haven't got some big celebrity fame, but I'm famous in my own way.
Right.
And I know what I've done. Like, I'm true to my craft.
Yeah. And the offer was on the table.
The offer was on the table.
Yeah.
And my mum didn't speak to me for 3 months.
Because of that?
Because I didn't sign.
Wow.
She's like, I'm handing you your dream.
Yeah.
I was like, I went away. They let me go listen to the 10 tracks instrumentally that they had, and I'm
so
like,
they kind of had like an album already laid out in a way.
Yeah. I don't know where I would have been today.
Wow.
But
you could have been dead.
Could have been dead, yeah. Bubblegum rap dead. Nah, but I'm so, I never have any. I don't have any regrets about it. I'm so glad because, again, like I went through life being myself, and then leading up to this track.
Yeah.
Again, like I wouldn't have met Trix. I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah.
And you guys are my people.
Yeah.
And I think through like being able to produce with someone like Trix, I think he really brings out that level of nature in me where I'm able to really get a bit gritty and hard and tell the true pure facts. So I'm really grateful for that. So I was able to tell my story like, nah, I'm more powerful than that. I'm not going to sign just to, get somewhere and like I put myself on the map.
Yeah.
I say that, and that's why it's like No Limit, and I'm coming at you more powerful than 2 Cleopatras,
Yeah, you're putting yourself on the map, not somebody else.
Yeah. So there's and it's like, it's establishing and reminding the people out there, we're in a time where there's no limit. There's so much you can do yourself. Like get up and do it.
It's such a good mentality.
Wait. Yeah. Don't wait for it to be handed to you. Like get out there and do it. Like don't discredit me, or don't like. There's been a few people in the past, like, don't dumb me down. Like, I've done the hard yards. I've done the hard yards, and I'm here to stay.
You didn't just float around or float in.
Yeah, like, I'm serious about what I do. And I love what I do. And I love the people that I, do music and I get creative with. So, and I love our scene, of course. So,
and you're committed to the scene. It's great.
I'm like, it's like Coyote Ugly. I'll be the last one standing, like,
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm going to die with the scene.
Yes. Maybe die with the scene. So before we kind of get to the end of it.
Yeah.
You're very busy. You do a lot of things. You're very, you work a lot.
Yeah.
You do a lot of creative stuff. So you collaborate a lot. You put on events. You plan. You do all these things. How do you kind of maintain that? Is there any kind of practices do you have that enable you to maintain that? Or are you just working on the fly, just running, gutting, just kind of like working it by instinct, moment by moment?
Thanks for asking that. I've always wanted to answer something like that and, let yourself know, let the people know. It's not easy what we do or what I do, but what I am on the fly, but I don't just do things on the fly. Like there's a lot that I do in the background for myself. It is so important. And, if anyone can learn anything off me as an artist or, as a normal person that's not an artist, I think it's very important to spend time with yourself. It's very important to have block out, periods, even if it's an hour in the day. I mean, I try to give myself more than that. People might not believe it. Sometimes I do have time, days or nights in the week where I'm like, I'm getting 3 hours a night of sleep because I'm doing so much. But that I wouldn't have it any other way because I love what I do.
Yeah.
But I meditate a lot. I'm very in touch with my spiritual side.
Yeah.
I meditate a lot.
So when you say meditate, do you mean just sitting and breath work and clearing the mind, or do you have a particular approach?
Sitting, laying.
Yep.
Maybe listening to like 432 hertz is a big thing for me.
Yep.
As well, and different kind of soundscapes, and just getting like lost with that and one with that.
Yeah. Okay.
And resetting. I think it's really important to have a vice that's pure like that, to reset yourself. There's a big wild side to me. Like, I love to get lit and stuff like that, but then I have to balance it back.
Yeah.
It's really important. Like, I love to work out. I love to, be fit, keep fit.
Yeah.
Eating well is really important. But yeah, like, love being out in nature.
Right. So there are things that you have to do. To be able to maintain this.
Yeah, it's like a way of life. Like, if I don't get out with nature or out to the ocean, like, many times throughout the year. Like, early this year, with Tricks, which was amazing, we got to explore a lot of like Ocean Grove and Apollo Bay, and my soul needed that. Both of our souls did, as artists, as people, in between work. We were taking a lot of weekends away like that, just putting your feet in the water, and it was during winter. But just saying nothing and just being there and being one with,
elements.
One with the elements, and disconnecting from the matrix, of course, and listening to the sounds of the earth.
Yes.
Is huge for me.
Yes.
People may not believe that, but it's been a way of life for many, many years. So, and like, even through COVID, like, I would take hours, we all did it, but I was lucky enough as well to have like a really beautiful like nature park. It was a huge track, and I look for, like, throughout my life, I've had things like that around me, and I've taken advantage of it, and I still do now.
Yeah.
It's important, like, to be out, connect with nature for me. Greenery, I love greenery. I love ocean. And it's also like, again, with loving so many genres of music, there's like 432 hertz. Laying with that, like sleeping with that.
No
I
shit.
find it very healing.
Yeah.
But I've also done, and I still do every now and then, I do a lot of metaphysical healing. Because I deal with a lot of people, taking a lot of energies, I give out a lot of energy. Like, one thing I haven't been able to really mention, I'm so happy to mention it with you. Throughout the years, I've made time to see a couple of special people who are healers, and we've done like chakra work.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've had to learn and work through some different things to get to where I am and be the person that I wanted to be today, what I knew I had in me to be able to bring forth, as an artist, as a, professional 9-to-5 person.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of, metaphysical healing work has been really important for me.
This is really great to hear, because I think that, so many people, whether you're a punter or a performer, don't understand what it takes to maintain something at a high level. Or to really maintain anything, even just to maintain a good attitude.
Yeah.
You have to kind of really take part in some of these practices to be able to sustain yourself.
Yeah, and 100%. And it can't be fake. You can't fake a frequency. I always say that.
Yeah, right.
You can't fake a frequency. And I think, eventually, for most of us, it comes naturally over time. Like, you find, something, a vice, like, if we want to call it that. And for me, it's it's a combination of those things, to be who I am, coming out into shows and things like that. There's a lot that makes Ivory Archer. It takes a lot of kicking back and being. I've always loved my own company, which is very lucky
and kind of important. And it's not necessarily something that everyone is comfortable. Not everyone is comfortable in their own company, and
for sure.
And that's tough, because that's the center of any growth. you know?
It's the center of any growth, you know. And if it's in anything I can wish for a lot of people that I do speak to, and again, like I've got a lot of learning to do with myself still. But if it's anything I wish for is like for people to learn how to be with themselves and center themselves, and then, you know, being really real with it and going away, and yeah, having some sort of meditation like that and being one with the earth, being one, and, you know, taking yourself out of like all the buzz.
It's mind, body, soul.
Mind, body, soul.
You have to do something for the mind, you have to do something for the body, and you have to do something for the soul. And if you're not servicing these things, your body, your mind, your soul will tell you, will indicate that does need some attention, but it's not always obvious what to do.
100%, for sure. And, you know, and like I have to, like, just quickly, I have to touch on, like, you know, sometimes the things I'm involved with and like the things that I do, like, you know, and I hope people are happy about it, me being involved in the community and giving what I've given. I hope people feel satisfied with it. And I know that there's been a lot of great feedback and recognition, but, you know, that entails like being on social media a lot. And if it wasn't for my music and if it wasn't for like me being someone that I need to promote things, I really wouldn't be on social media. It's
kind of
really,
same.
It's I know, like, but we're on, like, I'm on social media a lot because it's like, well, I've got a responsibility.
It is.
And I've got a service. I can't, you know, be a disservice to people that I've promised things to.
Yeah. Because
I believe in what we do so much. So, you know, I've got to be on these things so much and promoting, and it takes a lot of time. So, but again, in answering your question, you know, the other flip side of that is me disconnecting. Yeah. You know, and going off and doing my own thing and being with things like nature, going on long drives, 432 hertz, you know, that kind of soundscapes, you know, detaching yourself from like beat making and rap, hip hop, my techno that I love as well. Really connecting with, I don't know what I like to call level 9D. It's like 9D. The ninth dimension.
Okay. I like that. So many different ways to get grounded, you know, and I think that's why I had you on, because I knew that you would have some light or insight to share with us, and I have a lot of gratitude for that. So thank you so much, Ivory, for sharing the goodness.
Yeah,
cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Is there anything you want to plug or promote or talk about before we say goodbye to the fine people?
So fly people out there, make sure you hop onto, first of all, Grounded with DillyDave.
Yes.
Check out that Insta page, check out the podcasts. And go check out my music on Spotify. I've got a few collabs with, amazing collabs with Trix William.
Cool.
I'm about to drop my EP on Spotify, Apple, all the streaming services, probably next week.
Fuck yeah.
I haven't really announced that on social media. I've kind of kept to myself. I thought when it drops, I'll announce it.
Cool.
But
cool.
you're hearing it here.
Yes.
I'm getting a chance to say it. So, you know, tracks like I'm a OG, Type of Way, Finally, which only has the music video on YouTube. That Porsche, taken by Porsche.
Yes.
Shout out to her.
Yes.
She did the film clip. That's all going to be on streaming services next week. And then, last but not least, October 28th at Craftman's Corner Bar, which is around the corner from here. And you're on the lineup, Dilly.
Yes, sir.
We've got the Halloween edition of Young God. So I'm hella excited about that.
Spooky.
It's going to be spooky and it's going to be spicy. And we're going to bring it.
Dope. Love to hear it. Thank you so much, Ivory.
Thank you so much for having me.
Stay well and stay grounded.
Stay well and stay grounded.